Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Secretary, can you share what the outcome was of this historic conference?
Well, the most significant outcome was that the Israelis, the Palestinians, and the Syrians, the three main parties that have been involved in the Arab-Israeli conflict over the past decades, have agreed to make concessions in return for peace. Israel has agreed to give up some of its claims to Jerusalem that have historically not been traditionally attributed to the old city of Jerusalem and to the Jewish part of Jerusalem. They have agreed to give up the claims to the Golan Heights, and they have returned them to Syria in exchange for a promise from the Syrian government that there will be a lasting peace in that region. And they have also made some agreements with the Palestinians, particularly the Fatah government in the West Bank, over possibly liberalizing the border control and basically allowing for a freer movement of goods and services and people between Israel and the Palestinian territories. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, can you tell us more about what concessions the Arab side
Well, they first and foremost recognized Israel's right to exist and that Israel has the right to live in peace and security within its own borders. They've also agreed to stop funneling and harboring Palestinian militants and terrorists, particularly from Hamas or Hezbollah or even Al-Qaeda. And we think this is a monumental milestone on part of the Arab nations in the region for being partners in the war on terror.
Mr. Secretary, how were you instrumental in these talks?
Well, over the past couple of months, I have been traveling back and forth to the Middle East region. I have been visiting, with Israeli officials, Palestinian officials, Syrian officials, Lebanese officials, all the major players that have a stake in the outcome, had a stake, I should say, in the outcome of this agreement. I have been mediating between all these parties and I've been promising to bring them together so we can truly together make a lasting peace in this region. And that it is not just, I say, a regional problem, but it is more of an international problem. It is a problem that the whole world community has a vested interest in solving.
Anything that gave you a special insight that helped you in these negotiations?
My parents really thought it was important that I travel the world. They thought that it was important to be a cultured, worldly person to go to Europe, go across the United States. When I was in high school, I had all those opportunities. I went across country, I went to the Middle East, and that really helped me in gaining insight into how other people live and how other people, it's not just one way. There are many different ways to get by on this planet and different ways to solve the same problem.
You're the youngest serving Secretary of State. How did you accomplish that, and what made you special?
Well, I think there are many different factors. I think growing up as in high school and middle school, and even when I was a child, my parents emphasized the importance of education to succeed in this world. My private school education really gave me the skills necessary. Also, I think the extracurricular activities and my interests that I engaged in when I was in middle school and high school really helped me focus onto what I wanted to do. Particularly with international relations, history, politics, government. I was involved with Model UN, Mock Trial, Junior State of America, and ultimately I think I have to say my wonderful world-class education at the College of William and Mary.